Hey Scorpio, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. This is your 2022 welcome reading. So we're covering 4 different transits that are happening in the sky that are going to affect you. It's not a deep dive on any one transit. We are just basically taking an overview of the beginning of the year to give you an idea of what it's about and where we're heading. I have 4 little announcements. So if you want a reading with me, my site's still not up. You can get it in the description. Comments are off for these individual readings for now. I will put them back on and let you guys know when they're up, but comments are not necessary. If you want to support me in the channel, you can leave a like. You can share on other social media. That always helps. Or watch the video straight through to the end. That's always positive as well. Okay, I have a little bit of a cough. You may hear it right now. I have a very reactive system to any kind of cold or flu, or even if it just gets cold a little bit. I was sick a lot as a child, and so I have that carryover sensitivity. I'm not sick, I'm just coughing for over little things. So one more thing, there is an extended for members, and that will be linked at the end of the video and in the description. So let's get into it. So here is your chart for the next little while. And so we're going to take a look at what's going on. Hold on. Yep, it's going. Okay, good. So our first focus is a big one. It's actually the South Node in Scorpio that is entering through the end of December, beginning of January. And so as the South Node transits the first house, you're going to go through a big year of releasing things from within yourself and your personality and so forth that are no longer helping you. So it's time to put some things aside. Excuse me. You see, it's time to put some things aside, especially things in the past that have built up in your life that are just simply heavy, you know? And so with the South Node going through Scorpio, you're going through a big purge. We'll get into that more soon, but for now, just know that you're about to enter a deep personal transformation. The second point is that the North Node is entering into your 7th house. So as you are doing a lot of personal changes, 7th house transits bring a focus on partnerships, closeness with others. This is a time when you are going to be very focused on who is your number one, or who are your number ones at work or maybe in your love life. You will feel a need to connect with someone during this time. If you're single, finding a relationship may become a priority, all those kinds of things. Overall, it's a very kind of relationship-oriented transit. It's a big transit about changing who you've become. It's a little bit of a cleaning of the house, essentially, of your personality. So if you've picked up things along the way that are not serving you, this is a transit that will really help to clean that up. I'll do a deep dive on the nodes later when we find a moment to do them, but for now, that's really what you need to know. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards and give you some answers. So we have a King of Swords. That's important. That could be a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Secondary transits in fire, Sag, Leo, or Aries. Doesn't have to be a man, typically a masculine energy, but doesn't have to be a man. And then we have the Two of Cups, and this is the friendship one. I have 2 Twos of Cups in my deck. And so this Two of Cups is more the companionship, friendship energy. And then the third card, oh, you got the other Two of Cups, look. So this is the love one. So you have the Two of Cups for friendship and you have the Two of Cups for love. So to me, it signifies that there is a coupling going on. If I were to give you some indication of what type of person you're coupling with, I would say that they're very rational, they're strong, they could be an air sign, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, which is not a typical, Scorpio kind of pairing. But if they're like a Libra Scorpio, or if they're an Aquarius Pisces, or a Gemini Cancer, then that would be up your alley. And they may have Mercury or Venus in in those water signs supporting that. So, you know, be open-minded as to who it is. A King of Swords to me depicts someone who's very rational, someone who you can be your number one, someone who's going to tell you the truth, those kinds of things. This may be your partner already, in which case you're becoming closer with them, or it may be somebody else, but there's already a lot of friendship between the two of you. There's deeper feelings that are happening. So a lot's going on for you right away, showing up in terms of love. I'll talk about love a little bit more in the next section about Jupiter, but for now, just know it's coming. We have the High Priestess. You may have had insight about this person. You may have felt when you met them that they're pretty cool or that they have something that you really like. The next message is the Knight of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, secondary transits in air, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. Somebody's going to come to you with some kind of emotional offer. Not only are you reaching out to others with this North Node transit in the 7th house, but also others are reaching out to you. By the way, the nodes are about to switch in my chart. We're looking at December 18th. I have it kind of going so you guys can watch the months pass as we do the reading. So you'll see the nodes switch in just a moment as the North Node enters the 7th house. So that's why they're not there yet. We're looking in the past a little bit. So we have the Four of Cups next. Yeah, there's definitely an emotional offer from someone else. Now, these could be separate situations in which you're very close with someone else. And then on the other hand, there could be another emotional offer. 7th house transits can bring a lot of emotional support into our lives, so be very open to people coming into your life. This feels like somebody's working off of intuition. They're giving you some nice thing. They're reaching out. It's a nice energy. I just got a hit that this, for some of you, may be a boss. So this may be your employer, in which case, in certain respects, it may get romantic, but it seems as though the main energy that I have about the King of Swords is that you can really trust this individual. This person really has your back and they're a very trustworthy person. So, you know, you have someone on your side and we'll figure out who that is moving forward. But it looks like a lot of people are reaching out. A lot of good people are around and that's a good energy for you. Okay. Next transit is Jupiter in Pisces. So Jupiter is entering Pisces until May 11th, and then it will enter into Aries through May through October, and then October, November will re-enter Pisces for it's about less than a month, but it's still a little bit more Pisces transit, and then re-enter Aries at the end of November. Okay, so the spotted transit is similar to 2021, and for you it's in the 5th house. So when I was mentioning love, this will be one of those transits that gives you a great opportunity to fall in love. So you have a great chance of being with someone, meeting someone, you know, getting close with someone. All these things are possibilities for you at this time. Also, your relationship with your children will greatly improve. And I'm thinking specifically for parents who have maybe distance between themselves and their kids due to custody or something like that. And if you're dealing with legal issues around custody, around your kids, around being together, that will bring you together. Also, your relationship with your kids will improve, which means that, you know, like they're going to school and whatever, and they're coming home and you'll have more closeness, more communication. There's just a lot more positivity that will come into your 5th house. We'll talk about Jupiter a lot. This is just an intro. It's just important at the beginning of the year to recognize that the Jupiter is on a square to the nodes, and that's significant because you might get distracted by the 5th house is the house of hedonism. So you literally might be getting pulled to go have fun, and that may pull you away from some introspection that you need to be doing, or something like that, or maybe talking to specific one person. So you're distracted with partying, but there's not too much focus on any one person. So make sure that you're approaching your life at the beginning of the year with a certain degree of balance. If you see yourself running around everywhere and having fun, Jupiter entering into Pisces at the end of December, you'll see it enter right now, actually. Make sure that you're giving important people in your life some time and don't get distracted from following up with them and just being there, okay? All right, so let's take a look at Jupiter in the 5th house. It's going to enter right now. There we go. Okay, so your first, oh, cool, full. I'm getting a good vibe for your sign. I'm getting a very like on with the show, new beginnings, very strong transits in love this year. Virgo and your sign are getting really good transits. There's another sign that I already read for that has really good transits in love. But essentially you and Virgo have, because you're sextiling each other, so where's Virgo? Virgo's right there in your 11th house. You sort of like click through through the chart in a kind of measured way. So when Virgo's going through something, you're sort of going through something. It's a very complementary sign to you, not just in as a personal thing, but like on the wheel, the way that you're aligned. You tend to hit the 7th and the 5th house, which are romantic placements at the same time. So very complementary. So when Virgo's having a good time, Scorpios tend to have a good time. So as a Virgo, I enjoy your guys' company very much. We have the 9 of Pentacles, just a little tip. This is why Virgos and Scorpios get along. Also Cancers. It's a trifecta, very good energy there. So we have 9 of Pentacles and the Fool, new beginnings, a lot of celebrating what you have, a lot of money coming in, being successful. We do have Mars here in Sagittarius. Now, I didn't plan on talking about this, but that's a very good transit for money. It's a good transit for making moves and making decisions. And all these transits here at the bottom in the 3rd house in Capricorn, once they start moving into your 4th house with Saturn, that's going to be a very nice energy for you as well. Okay. All right. So I don't know if I told you this, but Saturn in the 4th house may mean that there's some kind of moving involved, or you've just recently moved. And so this may be causing some financial gain. Okay. We have the Tower. Ooh, okay. So a big change is on the horizon, and it has to do with the 5th house. I'll tell you something. When the Tower comes up in the tarot, especially around relationships and especially around meeting someone or dating someone, or it usually means something like an unexpected meeting, like love at first sight, or meeting someone and falling in love. So Tower in the 5th house isn't necessarily the end of a relationship. Now, if you're if you're dating someone and he's turning out to be a louse and it's just kind of a bad situation, then Tower may suggest that you're breaking up. But you know, if you're in that position, it's an exception. We have the 8 of Wands, lots of positive communication around you. Things are looking up. Just like I said, general happiness. Jupiter in the 5th house is a great, great transit for joy. Then we have the Queen of Wands, a Sag, Leo, or Aries. You might be interested in a fire sign. That's come up a little bit. More of a Sag, Aries energy than a Leo. Our signs that are up here are kind of quieter right now. So there's more opportunities with Sages and Aries for the time being. But any sign will do for the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is very cheery and upbeat. And then we have the Priestess. You're going to gain some powerful insight about how to approach this situation. Something's changing around you. There's going to be a person who gives you some insight, some very warm information, helps you figure it out. It's kind of like, I always think of the Matrix when I see the High Priestess, you know, the Oracle. Neo shows up in her kitchen and she's just like, it's pretty much the only part of the Matrix that I really connect with or that I really like. But anyway, so the High Priestess, you know, is like this Oracle in the kitchen telling Neo what to do. So here you are, Neo, in in your tower moment, and you run to the oracle and she says, this is what's going on, and it blows your mind. So be open to having your mind blown. Be open to kind words from a nice person who's going to give you some powerful way of looking at your circumstances that's going to change your perspective a lot. That was cool. I was stoked to see that for you. Okay, so the next two transits we want to focus on are retrograde. So here we have Venus, who is already retrograde by December 19th and will continue to be retrograde. Here, I'll use my cursor so you can see better. So will continue to be retrograde until the 28th of January. This is a pretty significant transit for all of us. You're definitely not a sign for whom this hits really hard. Anything to do with siblings and cousins will be a big deal, and anything that's a cyclical issue around your home will also be significant, so watch out for that. Venus retrograde will work things out between you and others. So third house in which this is happening is a social house when we're considering cousins, when we're considering siblings, people who you're close with. If you don't have siblings, this could be like your best friend who's like a sister to you or like a brother. So Venus retrograde can help work this out. This is an energy that mirrors 2019 to 2020. It hits certain signs way harder than you. So objectively, Scorpio had a favorable transit of Capricorn in the third house over the last couple years. This transit in Capricorn, it's called the stellium, where a lot of planets are, was really hard hitting. I mean, we had everything that's happened in the world is a byproduct of this transit. So it was once in a lifetime transit. There's nothing like it 10,000 years back, 5,000 years in the future. I know some people are saying that there is, but there really isn't. And so this is a singular event that was very rare, and it affected all of us, but Scorpios less so, because the third house is kind of basic. It's not a bad house, it's just one that's, maybe some dramatic things happened with you and siblings or cousins or something like that, but it's a favorable place to have this conjunction. And so you may have some residual things from 2019 and 2020 come up, and Venus retrograde can heal that. So if you got into a conflict with a sibling or a cousin, then maybe Venus retrograde will help you figure that out. Or if something's going around your house or your neighborhood that's kind of less than good, this will help it as well. But overall, it's not a transit in which it'll blow your socks off or anything like that. So yeah. By the way, this is a general reading in which I use like a whole house seeming system, but I actually would recommend that you look at your quadrant houses and figure out exactly where this is happening in your chart. I'm a Scorpio rising, and this is happening in my second house, for example. So for different people, it will be in different places. Saturn is in my second house still. So, it depends on what degree Scorpio rising you are. And I think that, just take a look at your chart to understand if you are a Scorpio rising. If you're a Sun Scorpio, now we're getting a little detailed. That it's with a Sun Scorpio, you can't really gauge it that way. So then you use the whole house. And so therefore it is in your third house for your Sun chart. Okay. So each transit has a chart essentially. So you can look at your moon, your sun, your Venus, even whatever. Okay. So we have this stellium right now with Pluto, Sun, Juno, Venus, and Vesta, but Venus is retrograde, and so she's working through relationships that you need to work out. Okay, so putting things to rest, moving on. We have the Ace of Wands. It feels as though maybe something is been put on hold for you for a little bit because of your relationship with family members. Like you and your brother wanted to start a business, but then other things came up, and so now it looks like there could be initiative in that direction. Maybe you and your family members are making plans to move in together. Maybe there's some other thing going on, in which case it's good. So yeah, and you know, King of Cups could be you, whether you're a man or a woman. Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Secondary transits in fire. It looks like you're doing a lot of initiating. Hey, I want to move forward with this relationship. I want to do this and that. So there's definitely a level of you wanting to improve your relationship with your family members, particularly your cohort. So people your age, people of your generation, not your parents and your uncles, aunts or whatever, but more so people around you. But you're initiating change with them. It's time to move past the past and start being productive together. Again, friendship, very good energy. So sibling energy is very, very strong for you at the beginning of the year. Great improvement. Anything that's not been working is going to start working out. The third house will have a lot to do with like locality, like your neighborhood and whatever. So if you're on the fritz with a neighbor, this is a time when, you know, bring cookies over and see what's up. Then we have the Six of Wands. Okay, so moving on, moving past situations, feeling victorious. And then we have Six of Swords. I called it the Six of Wands, but it's the Six of Swords. Okay, so moving past situations and Three of Pentacles. So yeah, I see success in business for you with regard to this think close to home sort of energy. And I feel as though a lot of it is contingent upon your relationships with others, in which you're basically moving past old drama and embracing the new. Okay, so the last transit is the Mercury retrograde. This Mercury retrograde starts in Aquarius, enters Capricorn, and enters Aquarius again once it goes direct. The last day of Mercury retrograde is February 4th. The first day is January 28th, is it? Oh, okay. No, it seems kind of, it's the 14th. Okay, I wrote down my note on the, oh, I see. It's been messing me up all along. Okay, so January 14th, Mercury goes retrograde, goes direct on February 4th in Capricorn and re-enters Aquarius. This is a huge compliment to Venus retrograde. So Venus makes us want to work out all these issues that we just talked about. Mercury gives us an opportunity to have a conversation about them. This for you may tie in issues about the house. This could be things like, what are we going to do about the house? How are we going to renovate it? Those kinds of things might come up as conversation pieces. You might start moving on old projects or wanting to move on projects or reconcile, you know, your Venus kind of issue. So whoever you're dealing with on a heart-based level that's close to you, whoever you're improving things with, Mercury retrograde will open up the channels of communication at this time. And so you'll communicate better. And that might lead to more progress in the 7th house. Hey girl, hey, for you. So, you know, your cousin might take you out and introduce you to a friend, and the rest is history. So it's just a matter of time before good things come in. Your chart is very focused on relationships right now. So this is where I would look to at the beginning of the year for significant changes and improvements. Okay, so next message is the Five of Swords. So it looks as though, you know, there's things to talk about. It feels as though you've needed to, in the past, to be strong. Okay, I'm telling you what I see. It feels like in the past you needed to be strong, and that strength, the Scorpio strength, can be biting because you can be very direct. And so that causes casualties. People who are, you know, around you who deal with the consequences of your actions. I'm not promoting narcissism. I'm just saying that you can be tough in a way that can overwhelm your relationships. Okay, so not quite narcissism, but still kind of intense. And so now this is the time when you've made your choices and now you're working on improving your relationships. And so putting things to rest. This always reminds me in intersocial relationships, like letting sleeping dogs lay. So this Mercury retrograde may not be actually you talking about so much. Things so much. You might be doing actually a lot of resting, particularly in the part in which Mercury is in Aquarius, because that's a square. So Aquarius is a fixed sign, Scorpio is a fixed sign. And so while Mercury is in Aquarius, that may be a time in which less is more. And then when Mercury enters into Capricorn for the last part of the retrograde, then maybe you can talk to someone, to the person that, whoever it is that you need to work out things with. Excuse me. Okay, there's your card, Sun in Scorpio, Six of Cups. So no matter what it is, I think I've picked up through the whole reading that there's an underlying friendship and closeness between you and them. So you like each other, there's a familiarity, there's a kindness, there's an acceptance, good energy. And then we have the Hierophant. You are a community, you are connected. You know, even if they don't want to talk to you right now, or if you don't want to talk to them, there's underlying love there that binds you together. So it feels like people who want to be together, who want to connect. Nine of Swords, but there's definitely some hurt there. There's hurt, like as if someone said something that was difficult, or some other form of, you know, pain. And especially emotional pain from words, communications, things said in the past. So be gentle, Scorpio, and you know how to be gentle and kind. So we have, and if it's your hurt, then deal with it, because you can also be, you know, intense that way. So Two of Cups, again, this is the more companionship thing. I'm getting very strong messages that whoever we're talking about for you, whether it's whoever it is, it's coming to your mind who that is, and that's probably who that is. So whoever it is, it really seems as though there's an underlying closeness, friendship, there's a companionship there, and that companionship is what's important. And it feels like it got complicated through life events. Life is a difficult thing, you know, in general at this time. Modern life pulls people apart. So be patient and it will work out for the best. Guys, members, I'm going to do an extended, which is mostly tarot, and I'll talk about astrology a little bit. I always do, but it's mostly tarot, and it's in the description. If you want to check it out, you can also click through right there. Everybody else, thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.